Let's welcome Who's That Meta Deck? Welcome back, Tamers, to another episode of Who's That Meta Deck with me, Nikita Swiftly. So it's going to be our second black meta deck that's going to be happening during the BT5 format. Now, personally speaking, I don't know if this will actually be a meta deck. I just think it's a nice fun deck. I think it's a nice fun deck that basically be built very cheaply. They're not massively sought after cards. They kind of combined with some old cards that we have from earlier sets. And in all fairness, it's just a nice, fun, easy deck to play with. Now, that being said, this is mathematically correct black. Is anything really mathematically correct besides math problems and equations? Either way, this is what we're going to work with here. This is a reboot jamming deck. So we've already seen this already in black, but now we have more options for the same levels. So Black Galgamon now shares itself with Greymon from the earlier black set, which is the if it has reboot gain jamming, but we have reboot early again like we did with the other one, the other Metal Greymon. We're going to go through this now. We're going to have a look. Reboot is fantastic, and having jamming on reboot is essentially you're taking security, no Digimon's going to affect you, and then at the end of your, well, at the start of your opponent's turn, you're kicking back into action, so you don't have to worry about being run through with Green's piercing effects. Obviously, if they want to suspend you, that's their choice, but they're having to give up something to do this, whereas you yourself have essentially just gained a little bit of momentum because they're not doing what they want to or doing what they need to do. So, reboot to the heart. This is our rookie lineup. Currently, there's not any great rookies that I really want to use in this here, so we're going to use the Kaporamon. This is on your turn. If you have reboot, this Digimon gains 1000 DP. That's pretty good. Obviously, we're using a jamming set, so the DP itself doesn't necessarily matter too much, but it could matter in matchups against something like yellow, where if you hit the card on the stack, it could be a specific amount of DP would be reduced. Obviously, if you're above that DP set point, you don't have to worry about being murdered on the hit of the security reveal. As our fifth, we're going to use a Kikinmon. This is just essentially as we are going to be using a Chaosmon based at level 7 in this deck. You can go through and use something like Zawar to defeat, but we'll talk about that later on. But yeah, Kikin's just here for that extra kind of oomph when you're attacking and you want to gain extra memory. It's pretty nice. Obviously, Kikin is more for the Ragnarlord decks, but unfortunately, we don't really want to play that ourselves. So we're going to go into the squad, and this is our squad of rookies. We're going to have the Twergamon as our reboot giver just in case. We have Furries in the deck. I think they're a really good card. I wish we had a Galmon in this that was black that gave reboot as well, so you'd have options of 8 of these. I still think they're really good. Then our other big boys over here is going to be the Sanzarimon, which is your turn, all of your black Digimon with 13 DP or more gain piercing, which I think is just a really good effect. I think most people would agree with that statement. And then when it is inherited, it's when this Digimon is black and has 13,000 DP or more, this Digimon gains security stat +1 again. So that's really good. And it's going to be a case of we don't always have to worry about having the reboot from Agamon. We do gain this effect, and with other things in the actual evolution line, you know, we are gaining more and more damage as it goes anyway. And then for the other, I'm going to say 8 here, you can work out yourself. If you don't want to have 8 and you want to have 6, have 6. If you want 7, have 7. Whatever you feel is your perfect amount of rookies, you do that. You might just want 12 rookies, and that's fine. It's down to you. I'll just pick these because Commandramon I think is a really decent 2-cost, and the Hagorimon is exactly the same. It's a really nice, decent 2-cost. Obviously, depending on what you want to play, if you're playing more of a Commandramon core, that's your choice. Play the 16 Commandramons if that's what you want to do, but this is how we're going to work this in this deck. And the Hagorimons again, it's just a nice cheap 2-cost just in case that's when you need to throw down during your turn. Now, onto the cheap Engage champions. There's 12 here. Again, you can do 16 if you want to. You could do shuffle this around. We'll go through player's choice later on and talk about that. But for now, we're going to do Dark Tranamon, which is your 1-cost to evolve blocker with 5,000 DP. Pretty good. Again, this is just a super cheap evolution cost. That's all you really want it for. Tankmon, again, super cheap evolution cost. You just want that 1 drop on maybe his first turn, or you're trying to just whittle down like your plays so your opponent's going to get something good on you. And then we have the lovely Black Galgamon, which is the slightly bigger version of the Greymon from set 2, I think, set 3. That has jamming on. They're both the same inherited body. It's just this is a bit more of a chunky boy, and it costs 1 more to throw down onto the field, whereas the Greymon was a 4-cost. Then we have the targets locked on. This is our lovely ultimate lineup, which is Black Mech Galgamon as well as Metal Greymon. So depending on what you want, depends on what you get. So for Black Mech Galgamon, this is just extra DP for our rebooting megas, just because it's essentially something maybe you punch over something higher, or as I said earlier, you've got DP reduction that you need to worry about. But this could just really upset your opponent if they are trying to knock you down through security effects. Maybe you've hit, like, for instance, a 7 Heavens. That's hit you for 10k. Well, luckily, because you had this, you now have 12k, so you don't have to worry about that damage. Something along those lines. But DP reduction does continue to the end of your turn. So if you were to hit multiple of those, or things that reduce your DP by maybe a slight amount, this does obviously help keep you over the threshold. And then the Metal Greymon is just a extra security attack. So we have this, we have the Sensoriumon. There's a good chance that you will be over the threshold of the 13k, especially if we are doing the Agumon into the Chaosmon. That's 14, so you are looking at the extra +2. So this is essentially the same as if you do the, in brackets, OTK green deck with Chaosmon. And that's essentially what we're doing here. We will go through other things when we get to our player's choice, though, if that will help anyone else. Then we move along to our megas. You'll never catch me when I'm down, because we have reboot on everything, baby. So we have the Metal Grumon, which is the reboot on play. And then when Digivolving Digiburst 2-way, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less, and if they don't have one of those, then you trash the top security card off their security stack, which is a shockingly good ability if you think about it. If you're just Digibursting 2 Digimon away that have nothing to do, that they don't do anything for your current deck or your current lineup, for instance, like you've had to go from, say, Blocker Dark Trenomon into, let's say, for instance, because you don't really need it, the Black Galgamon, and then you Digivolve into this, you know, you can get rid of those two, you can smash down onto the security stack, and that could have been the last security, and then you just smash in for game. You know, that's a pretty good effect, especially on a Digivolve effect, especially because it's only a free cost to Digivolve as well. And then our other mega for this is going to be the Black War Greymon. Now, I'm a massive fan of the Primal Black War Greymon. I think it's a really good card, but when you trigger its continuation of attack, so you're in suspend to resuspend thing, you're obviously just burning away all your effects. So having the reboot is nice, but then you lose out your jamming, and then you lose out on any of your other little tricks that you can do. This one has reboot built in, and it has security attack +1. So this is going to be very good if you want the jamming effect. So you're going to have jamming and security attack +1 from the Metal Greymon, and then you can have the Porimon, which will give you 13k. Because you now have 13k, you can have the Senzari. So the Senzari is going to throw out, so that's going to give you the extra +1 security. So this can be a +3 security with reboot and jamming. You know, you can do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time if you're not hitting things like a Gaia Force or a Digivolution Source, or don't like maybe a Terra Clusters might start coming back into play. I don't know if they will. They're pretty good, but very expensive. You only want to see them in security. Then from there we go on to our level 7s. And wait, did you seriously get another form? They did. They got a nice looking championship. The online championship, that is. They've got the original for participants, they've got the finalists, and they have the champion form. All the same artwork, it just has a different stamp. I think it looks very nice. It's a nice medium rarity. As you're probably aware from the series ourselves, we did pull multiple of these. They are in multiple decks, so we're able to play these nice. I think for this week, I think all 4 we've pulled have gone into the decks now. So you've got 2 in green, 2 in black. And that's where I like them. I like the 7s to be at 2s. You want to see them, but you don't want to see them all the time, because obviously you clutter your hand, or you're not drawing the things you need to draw. But Chaosmon is a fantastic card. It has piercing. It has, when Digivolving, unsuspend to attack again. It can attack anything on the field that's just on the field. You're already gaining the security attack plus, especially if it has jamming built in because of the Toy Agumon. So we've got the Toy Agumon, we've got the jamming effect. This is a 14k body, so we're already getting the effect from. So yes, this is if this evolves from Senzari, you get the extra plus security attack. So when you swing in, you're going to swing through the security. It's going to hit the security, its original hit, as well as its secondary hit from the security +1. Sadly, it doesn't gain reboot because of Senzari not having reboot, because that's the Agumon line. But this is still a pretty awesome card to have. And again, it's a lot of the worst things you could have. Down to the last half dozen. So this is the last 6 cards we have in this deck. There are other things you can put in here, but I think it's just a really good choice to have. Looking at 2 TKs, sorry. Looking at 2 ties here. These ties are your memory gain at the beginning of your turn, but on your opponent's turn you get the extra 1000 DP for all black Digimon. Pretty damn fantastic. Now you could change this up, you could have 4 of these, you can have 2 Metal Storms, you can go 3 and 3, but I'm going to go with the 2 and the 4. It's probably something I'd like to play test, see what I can mix around. The Blazing Storm, it's a 1 cost, it gives all of your things from Reboot block it, as well as 1000 DP to the end of your opponent's next turn. So if there's no way your opponent's going to be able to punch through, this is really good. And again, the ties give you the extra 1000 DP as well. So this could be a lot better than you think. You're gaining 1000 DP per card, so if you literally want to play all 4, just maybe you need to spend a little bit of memory, so it goes to 1 on your opponent's turn. They want to swing in, you've now got the extra 4k. Say you've got one of these ties on the field, that's extra 5k, and you're blocking with, say, the Metal Garurumon, that is going to be a 17k body, 16k body on the field. It's pretty damn good. And then we're going to go over to our players' choices. So you do have a lot more options in this deck to mess around with and how you feel, as we do have a lot of rebooting going on in this deck. And as we said before, we have the Greymons. These are pretty good. They're exactly the same as the black Galgamons. No difference is they're cheaper to play cost, and they're a little bit less DP wise, but they have the exact same effect of if you have reboot, you can gain jamming. Then we go over to Izzy. Again, Izzy's just a good card. This deck is essentially fully black. The only cards that aren't black are the Chaos Mons. So out of literally 50 cards, there are 2 that will not trigger this effect. You do gain a memory. This is pretty good when you want to use this in your first turn. You give your opponent 4 memory, then take it down to 3. It does give your opponent a bit less of things to smile about. You have this Beast Cyclone, and this is all of your Digimon with reboot or that's blocker. Get security attack +1. It's a free cost. It's quite expensive, but if you want to do it at the start of your turn, it can be pretty good. It can be quite effective. But I think that the nice, wonderful, the Blazing Metal Storm is probably better than this. We have the Black War Ground promo. As I said before, this is pretty good. Obviously, done suspending trick and everything else, but you can just build this up and you can evolve this into a Chaosmon to make things a little bit more spicy. We have a Gogumon here. This can go into your ultimate slot if you just want to have it for the DP gain. You got to remember as well, if you decide to Digiburst all the things underneath you, so your rookie, your baby, your champion, that's the extra DP gained on the stack of that Digimon for that turn, plus the extra DP from the Gogumon's inherited effect itself. We have the Waru Monzimon, which is essentially Evil Monzimon. It's just a super duper cheap evolution cost at 2. I think it's one of the cheaper ones currently available in black. I don't think there's anything any cheaper than 2 in black, and I don't think there is any other 2s in black besides... Actually, don't know. There might be something in black that's 2 cost, but this is pretty good for right now. If you just want a cheap evolution source to go up into your megas, especially if it's going to be something that Digiburst away, and you aren't too happy about having the extra damage boost here or the security attack +1 if it doesn't really bother you. And we're going to go on to our Crest Garurumon. This has reboot, so it gains the effects of jamming, it gains the extra attack, it gains the extra security, smash down, and on Digivolving you can search your deck for, I think, a red and a black card, and then you can play those for free. Or has like a certain, I can't remember now. But yeah, you get to search your top of the deck for how many Digimon your opponent has, and you can play 1 of each, I think, for free onto the field, which is pretty cool. Then we have Omnimon Zaword Defeat as a tech option here. This is the security one, so on security, if it gets hit, it gets played onto the field. Don't worry about damage calculation. Has the when Digivolving, destroy one of your opponent's tamers, and then on deletion, I think it's destroy one of your opponent's Digimon. Pretty cool. And then Omnimon Zaword here as our option for our 7th as well. When Digivolving, trash top 3 cards to your deck, and then play up to 2 black and or purple Digimon cards with 8 cost or less from the trash, paying the memory. It's pretty good, especially later game, where you know you've somehow got your mega into this, and then you're in a situation of, okay, what do I do next? A lot of my cards are now in the graveyard. I'm not defeated just yet. I can still do stuff. And then you Digivolve this into this. You throw down 3 cards. You get lucky. You can then put down like maybe 2 black Algamons, or you can put down 2 metal Greymons, or you can put down 2 blockers just to give you some more time. And then when attacking, you may return one of your level 6 cards in your Digimon's Devolution cards to its owner's hand to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 12 or less. Black is very lucky in that sense because a lot of the cards are 12 or 11. Not really 13. A lot of the megas are going to be 12 or less. There are a few that are 13, there are a few that are 14, but most are going to be in the 12 to 11 range. I think there might be a couple of 10 as well, I'm not too sure. But that is our choices here today. tamers. So, if you've enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Happy to see. And then the next deck profile I think coming out will be a red turbo OTK turn 2. This is probably my pet project that I'm looking forward to making the most during the BT5 format. This will be something that you'll probably see on the channel, and my wife will probably start playing with me very, very soon afterwards. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing if we can get some turn 2 OTKs. It's not a hard thing to do, it's just about a little bit of luck and having a little bit of memory gain on your side of the field for your opponent, not kind of respecting what red can do. Just a lot of people don't think red does a lot. So, with that, tamers, peace out, goodbye. We love you all here at Griffins Gaming. Thank you for being here on this journey with us, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out, goodbye.